Hey, it's Rick, and I just pray that God's blessing you. I want to talk to you today about time and how our decisions working with God matter, and how it seems confusing to us in certain ways that we play a part in this relationship between space and time and God and his decisions, because we already have heard that he's sovereign, that he knows all, that he's through all and around all. So what's the big deal? Why can't we just continue to sin and do what we want, and then he forgives us, and he already knew we were going to do it, so why not just do it? And we all know that there's consequences to ideas, there's consequences to sin and mistakes, but maybe you're willing to live with those, or I'm willing to live with those, so why don't we just continue in that path? Well, there is so much more that God has for you, so much more that he wants to share with you and lead you down the path that's more bright and greater for your life, that this is the way to think about it. First of all, he comes in the fullness of time. So Jesus comes, and God limits himself in the body of Jesus, right? We know that he limited himself, and he'd only do what he saw the Father do while he was on earth, which included miracles and great things, also included suffering. And he learned obedience through suffering, Hebrews says, which is interesting. And Jesus even said that no one knows the date or the time that I'm going to come back for the second coming, only the Father. So somehow God limits himself in relationship. And so we may be predestined for a certain future, for the heavens and whatever, but at the same time, how you live your life matters. Every decision you make matters. So you're just driving along, you're coming home from work, and you're passing a Quick Trip, you're passing the liquor store, you're passing the smoke shop, whatever it is your fancy possibly. I'm not calling it sin, I'm just calling it not good decisions possibly. Maybe you don't need, it's probably you don't need the donut in the morning, but you certainly don't need it just before bed. And so we're trying to we deserve this, we should have this, and what does it even matter? We're going to die anyways, right? Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Well, you know and I know deep down that is not the way to live. We should live for legacy, we should live for our future, live for our kids, and live a long, healthy life. But in the grind, is God there? And why is it that he says that he prophesies all this stuff in the future, like tells Abraham that his descendants will be in Egypt for 400 years, and then they were. Can we stop this? Can we change the cycles? But then it's an interesting thing, they go out in the desert, and they're getting out of the Red Sea, they cross over, and they're going, and he's like, guys, go take the promised land, go live there. And then they come back and they grumble. And God works with us. I gotta work with these people. They need to stay 40 years here and just weed out this doubt and unbelief, weed out these bad choices. And they were choosing poorly. They were choosing to want to go back, to be in slavery, actually. And he says no. So he weeds it out, and he works with us in relationship. So even David, when he was anointed to be king, he had to go through all this trials and all this time. He had to make good decisions along the way, and God worked with him in relationship. And then at his worst possible point, it turns around and boom, he becomes the king. So you may be at the worst possible point in your life, but God's like, hey, I'm preparing for you something, and it's just around the corner. You just need to have courage. You just need to wait. You just need to make those good decisions now. And so I just want to encourage you today that as you go through time, God is working with you. He's in relationship. In a way, it's kind of like I think he's discovering what we'll choose, limiting himself a little bit, even though I'm sure he knows all. He'll limit himself in relationship, and how we choose and how we think and how we steer our hearts and how we steer our minds, how we steer our families. He takes a note of it and he sees it, and then he gives the next best thing. So in order to get a big blessing, we have to go through this purifying process. We got to have things heated up after things go a little bit bad, but God will work. And here's the thing, he works with other people's decisions as well as he works with ours. So he knows all, but we are in fluid flux relationship with him. And so don't just trust he knows it all, I'm going to do whatever I want. That is the opposite of the way he says things. He always has if clauses in the Bible. If my people who call by my name, choose this day whom you will serve. If you will listen and hear my words and do this. And then, so all the time he has this if-then clause. We are the ones who are in relationship with him in space and time. And he created space and time for us. He created the Sabbath for us so we could rest. He didn't just create us so that we were forced to rest. So at all times, God is working with us and our space and our time and our fluidity of our decisions. So next time you're driving past something and you're weary or distraught or tired and you don't want to wake up and pray, you don't want to go to bed and thank him, you know what? He's watching and he's seeing, can I pour out a bigger blessing? Can I pour out more of my wisdom? Can I give him a bigger or her a bigger revelation of my peace and my love? And he certainly will, and he certainly can, if we would just quiet our hearts, quiet our minds, and realize your next decision matters. Everything you decide matters. God is watching you and understanding you in relationship, and those things matter to him as they matter to us. So do what's right, do the next right thing, make the best decisions for your life, and enjoy Christmas and enjoy Jesus' birth and coming in the fullness of time. God bless you. Have a great week.